So you're thinking of moving to Oklahoma City, but you're definitely not the only one. What might surprise you is that not everybody's stopping directly in Oklahoma City. They're oftentimes heading to one of the suburbs. That often means out west to Yukon. Seriously, it kind of feels like low-key Yukon's been blown up a little bit the last couple of years. You got families, first-time homebuyers, out-of-state relocation homebuyers, and at your first glance, it might look like just your average everyday suburb. But once you get a little bit familiar, there really is something a little bit deeper going on there. Because like I've said, once you get here and realize exactly how big Oklahoma City is and the entire metro, and just how different each suburb can feel, Yukon really starts to make a lot of sense to people. It's got space, it's got charm, you still get to drive past cow pastures between neighborhoods, all while being pretty conveniently close to Oklahoma City. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing why I think so many people keep moving to Yukon. You can decide if it's the best fit for you. Let's get into it. What's up guys, I'm Jonathan Knight, and on this channel we talk about all things Oklahoma City and all the surrounding suburbs. Now if you've never been to OKC or the OKC Metro, it might not look like much at first, but if you spend more than just a couple days, it's going to start to hit different. And while in addition to Oklahoma City proper, you still definitely have options like Edmond or Norman if you want to live in a bigger suburb that kind of feels like its own city. But when it comes to a town like Yukon, where you have local festivals and community building events, you've got neighborhoods popping up like wildflowers, and the fact that like most places here in the OKC Metro, you can still get a home for a reasonable price. When you combine all that, for some people, there's really no mystery why Yukon is starting to feel like it's outpacing a lot of the suburbs. So we're definitely going to dive in a little deeper here today, but first, if you're thinking of moving to the Oklahoma City area, whether it's in the next few weeks or few months from now, listen guys, I would love the opportunity to help make a smooth move right here to OKC. So you're going to find my contact information right down in the description below, so please feel free to shoot me a call, a text, or an email. Or even better, click the link below to schedule a one-on-one video call with me, or you can simply scan the QR code on the screen so that we can discuss how I can hopefully help you buy that perfect home right here in OKC. All right, we got to start with just the feel. Yukon kind of has a mix of new plus a little bit of that nostalgic Oklahoma feel. Now, there are plenty of new construction neighborhoods for sure, and more of those popping up, but it still does just feel like a town. A lot of people in this town seem to still know each other. They've got a bunch of cool community building events like the Czech Festival, which has been really popular the last couple of decades, or at least in my life. And the Czech Festival isn't just some niche cultural event. It is a full-blown celebration that has live music and dancing. It's got kolaches, and those things are so good, they are probably illegal in 7 to 10 states. And you know, honestly, this is true in a lot of metros, but some of the suburbs can start to feel like carbon copies of each other, but to me, Yukon still kind of has that Yukon feel. It's not trying to be trendy, it's just Yukon. Okay, then there's the location. So Yukon sits right on the west edge of the OKC Metro, and yeah, it's not exactly right in the heart of everything that's going on in OKC, and for some that might be a challenge, but on any given day, depending on the traffic, you can get to downtown Oklahoma City within about 20 to 25 minutes. And yeah, you'll definitely hear some people call it a bedroom community, but I mean, that's kind of the point. So if you're like a lot of people that I talk to and you want to really just escape the busyness of Oklahoma City, but maybe you can access it when you want to, this is that kind of vibe. I mean, if you want to go to Bricktown for dinner or go to a Thunder game, or if you need to get to the airport, those things are going to be relatively accessible. But otherwise, you get to kind of hang out away from the noise, and you know, for a lot of people, that is definitely one of the perks. Now, really quickly, if you are still trying to dial in what part of the OKC Metro makes the most sense for you, I've created a really helpful relocation guide that I think you'll find really helpful, and if you'd like a copy of that, I'd be happy to send it to you for free. Just put Move OKC in the comments. I'll send it right over. All right, let's talk about homes and home prices. And honestly, this is where OKC and the OKC Metro really shines for a lot of people. And Yukon is no different. I know it sounds crazy, but you can still get a pretty good sized home in a good school district and not have to sell a kidney to get it. Now, the median home price in Yukon at the time of filming this video is right around $265,000, which is right there in that median home price for the OKC Metro, which is pretty wild considering that the median home price throughout the US is still right around $430,000. And guys, I talked to a lot of people from a lot of places in the US who are paying a lot more than that. Now, like I said, there are definitely a lot of new construction neighborhoods popping up in Yukon, and that's true of a lot of the OKC suburbs. But if you're somebody who wants a neighborhood with a little more charm and you're looking for more mature trees, there's going to be those options as well. All right, now you're probably thinking, all right, Jonathan, but what about schools? Well, from what I understand, they're pretty solid. According to niche.com, the Yukon Schools District is rated a B+, and honestly, a lot of families choose Yukon because of the schools. In fact, I would say a lot of folks I talk talk to are looking into Edmond, and that's a really popular suburb here for sure and has great schools. But it's pretty common that I talk to folks that find Yukon schools fairly comparable and they're going to pay a whole lot less money living there. Not that Edmond is totally crazy, but you know, for the OKC Metro, it's definitely a little on the higher side. So for those families, Yukon makes for a pretty viable option. And I know, I get it. I've talked to a lot of people who don't have kids, and you know what? I don't have kids myself, but schools do matter. The truth is, a good school district helps protect the value of your home over time. And at the end of the day, it's definitely going to make your home more marketable when it comes time to sell. So yes, little Timmy and little Sarah will have the opportunity for a good education, and you won't have to worry about them relying on becoming a YouTuber like me. All right, so we already talked about kind of the feel, but I think it's important just to point out that Yukon still kind of does have that small town vibe. I mean, it really is laid back, it's friendly, which I think you can say that about the whole OKC Metro. I talked to a client recently who told me, Jonathan, it just feels safe here. And she said, I don't mean like in a crime way. She felt emotionally safe. Now that might sound kind of weird, but I think what she meant is that people make eye contact and people smile. And you know what? I'm used to that. I take it for granted, but I'm always happy when people tell me that's their experience when moving from out of state. I mean, strangers are probably going to talk to you while you're waiting in line. And if you go to the same coffee shop a couple times a week, they're going to start to remember your name. So just a side note, if you're coming from out of state where that isn't normal and people don't really interact that way, well, it might feel a little bit jarring at first, but I promise you're going to get used to it and you're going to find it pretty charming. You'll definitely be able to brush up your conversations with strangers in your first week, and I don't know, maybe by the end of the first month you'll be invited to the block party. It's just that kind of place. Just a couple things to keep in mind though. If you're looking for a busy nightlife, Yukon is probably not the place. I mean, you'll find some local restaurants and you're definitely going to find some chain restaurants and a lot of retail if that's kind of your thing, but when it comes to finding a place that has craft cocktails or a nightclub, it's really not going to be really popping in Yukon. You're going to have to drive to Oklahoma City for that. And again, that's kind of the point. But just keep in mind, if those are the things you kind of want access to relatively frequently, you're going to maybe get a little bit tired of that 20 to 30 minute drive. And on that note, if it is going to be a bedroom community that you live in and work somewhere near downtown or in Oklahoma City, you might have to consider that drive every day. May not be something you want to do. Like I've said many times on this channel, public transportation just isn't likely to be reliable enough for most people day to day. So if you live a lifestyle that's going to require a lot of driving, well, you want to consider that because welcome to car culture. But like I said before, Yukon really isn't trying to compete for the trendiest parts of town. It's just trying to remain, well, Yukon. Now, if you're tired of hearing me just talk about Yukon from the inside of this dark office, you could come with me over to this neighborhood right here. And as always, guys, until next time, I certainly hope to OK. See you soon. See ya.